it potentially open. I'll find out this weekend, but I know we want to do some beach, so I'll try and do that before the summer is gone because I've not done enough of it, honestly.
We haven't done our group one beach trip tradition.
So, well, it doesn't have to be tradition. We should make it more often. So I'll ask some peeps about Monday and see.
Yeah, well, if that happens, I think I'll probably be able to sneak out and do some beach stuff, beach festivities.
Are you ready to go, sir?
Yes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 208th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the cranked Travis Snell.
The cranked. Oh, I like what you did there.
In honor of my favorite Jason Statham movie.
I am...
Waiting for 3.
I don't want to say I'm the expendable Taylor Field. That's not very nice. I'm Taylor Field.
Wow, nothing. Not even the assassin or the mentor.
Well, it has to be like, I am the Big Finn.
I should have never asked. The Big Finn.
The Big Finn, Taylor Field.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you haven't guessed by our nickname, but this is a review that we've talked about for a little bit doing. I somehow got roped into it, the Meg. Before we get into the Meg, go and check out the newscast yesterday. Me and Dylan did that. We talked about Smash Direct. We talked about the Venom Marvel stuff and how they might be trying to get Spider-Man back. We talked a little Oscars controversy, so we had a really solid cast. And then later on tonight as well, or if you're watching this at some point this weekend, because who knows when you watch this, maybe you'll listen to Slender Man first. But either way, there's going to be a Slender Man review. So you got 3 podcast episodes dropping this week. So it's not E3, it's not Comic-Con, just a week where lots of news, lots of movies. So me and Kirkland are going to review Slender Man. I don't know how that's going to be. But yeah, and check out, I think for any wrestling fans, I think I'm going to review the G1. There's lots of big wrestling news going on in New Japan. And then the G1 finals are tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to be staying up till 4 a.m. watching them. So I'm pretty excited. Well, it's wrestling in Japan, so time zones, they're a bitch, man. They really are. I was really struggling this morning watching it and then trying to get to work. Yikes. But you know what maybe I was struggling through was trying to watch the Meg. So if you've not joined for our reviews before, we'll start with the non-spoilers. We'll give our thoughts, opinions, maybe recommendation, and we'll get into spoilers. I don't think this is a big, heavy Infinity War, BBS, Star Wars. So if you wanted to stay through the spoilers, I think you could. I don't think we're going to be going plot breakdown by breakdown. There's some stuff we may spoil, but honestly, I don't know if, and I guess, you know what, I'll start. I don't know if you need to pay to see this movie. I don't even, and this thing, you maybe were expecting, if you're a long-time listener, for Travis to crap on this movie. I don't think this was a bad movie. I didn't think it was a good movie. I think it's somewhere in like a little below the middle. Maybe that'll ruin my score, but I've seen worse movies this year. It was just kind of bland. It felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be as far as did it want to be the really cheesy out there comedic shark movie or really serious shark movie, because at times they talk about stuff like PTSD and they do these kind of horror moments, which some of the horror moments got me, they're just big jump scares, but they do moments that had some intensity to them. I'm like, okay, this is working. And then other time they go the route of B movie, like very Sharknado, sci-fi, and very, if you've listened to our Alien Covenant review, and if you've not, then I'll rephrase, the characters in this act very stupid. There's not much characters being fleshed out in this movie, and when they are, it's very, very little. Like, this is a minor spoiler, but Jason Statham's character has PTSD because of an event. They touch on it a few times. They're kind of almost trying to do like a Jaws thing, but it's just kind of there when they need it to be, and then it's thrown out. The characters make a whole bunch of stupid decisions in this movie, so that was my biggest problem, that I didn't know. It was very similar to how I felt about Rampage, where they were trying to go for a cheesy action movie, but sometimes they made it too true. They were trying to be too serious with it, and it just kind of clashed. And I enjoyed some stuff. I think it was a little too long. I think this movie could have been an hour and a half. This was 2 hours, and it felt that there's one moment in the movie where I was hoping it was ended. And I knew it wasn't, but like, oh, this could be it. And then it didn't, and it really dragged, and it's just kind of the same stuff over and over. There's no good characters. If you like Jason Statham, you'll like this movie. Statham's fun to watch, so I think you would like seeing him do his stuff. I'm trying to think other pros or cons. There's some actual comedic moments that work, and then there's some actual comedic moments that annoyed the hell out of me. CGI is awful in this movie all the way around. I was saying to Taylor in the car last night, I give them a little bit of leeway with the Meg because, okay, it's a megalodon, it's not a shark that we've seen like as with our own eyes, and they can use some imagination because it's such a huge shark. But when they go down underwater, they are, they just show you like a regular looking like goldfish, and it looks fucking fake as can be. Like I've seen CG from 10 years ago that looked better, so that was super disappointing. It took me out all the time, especially in one scene they pull Thor Ragnarok. They're like, look how beautiful this is, and it's like it did not look beautiful at all. It just looks like a computer. And yeah, I guess I should shout out too as far as characters. The other thing that comes in is just not just with Statham, but there's other characters that either one they bring up plot points and they don't really address them, or they address them way further in the film and you've almost forgot about them. And then two, lots of the characters are all over the map, or we don't spend much time to learn about them, so they go for like some heartfelt moments, and it's like, we literally have seen 2 scenes of this character. Why am I supposed to care? Yeah, I get it's a human, but you're supposed to have some sort of investment. And I'm not going to shout out anybody. I think Statham's good. I don't like to, even though I have a reputation of, Suicide Squad, I don't like to shout out one actor in particular that did a bad job. So I'm just going to say, other than Statham, the rest of the cast in general was pretty bad. But I don't even know if that was them, because I think the script is pretty bad from dialogue. There's literally a guy that just says, that shark ate my friend, and he's trying to be sad about it, and it's like, oof. So like, I don't even know if it's because Statham has that bulletproof. I don't even know if it is because of the acting. I just think everyone is kind of really bad in this movie, but I think that could be the script. So that's why I'm not taking anyone to task. And like I said, I would recommend, if you like Jason Statham, if you love shark movies, then sure, go ahead. If you really like it, I think this is a cheap Tuesday on Netflix. I don't think you need to see it. It's not anything you haven't seen before. I think, and Statham, the director, was saying this earlier this week about how they wanted to make it rated R. I think that could have helped as well, because there's a lot of the kills that were very samey, just a lot of people in the water, a shark came by, got them, and that was it. There's not much creativity to it. Yeah, so I think if you're just an average moviegoer, you don't need to see this. You can go Netflix it. You can, cheap Tuesday if you really want to. But I think it's there's nothing awful about it, but there's nothing really good about it. It's just a bland, kind of in the middle sort of movie, and it's a sprinkle of Jason Statham. So that's my thoughts on the Meg there. So Taylor, what do you think? Because you've been very excited with this. You're the only reason we're seeing this.
I have been excited. I was so, the fact that we saw it together and you were there made it much more fun and enjoyable. Your reactions were
strange
great.
Crowd we were.
Oh, the crowd! That guy behind us laughing. His laugh was a little bit strange.
Triggered me a little bit. You know what? I'm happy I see movies at 7 p.m. most time, because we went at 9:40, and that's that late night stoner crowd that doesn't give a fuck. And man, they can get a little annoying sometimes. Not to the point where you could be like, hey, shut up, they're not talking, stuff like that. It's just, yeah.
Well, it was wild, because so Travis got his ticket first, and his ticket was right in the front, up in the front of the theater.
No, it wasn't. Okay, our theater, the Grand, is a smaller screen, and it was the 4th row back, not the first front row. Come on.
It was super close, and so we decided to play coy a little bit, and we skipped back, and we didn't sit in our actual seat. We went back a little bit, and
we got 2 rows.
I picked the row. I picked row G.
Because we scoped out the theater before on our apps, and we saw that people had bought tickets, but it was not a full seat theater, so we thought we could do it.
Yeah, and we got in our seat, and then sure enough, then people started flooding in after. It was a little sketchy, because we're like, oh, are they gonna sit where we are? We're gonna have to move, but they sat in the row in front of us, like a few seats to the side of us, and then behind us. But our row and our seats were perfectly fine.
I was so nerve-wracked, because I was like, man, if we get an usher or have to get embarrassed and talk about how we gotta go down 2 rows during the fucking Meg, are you kidding me? Like, I'm already seeing the Meg. I'm here at 9:40 because we were supposed to see Slender Man. We didn't get that until tonight. And then if we're gonna get pushed down a couple seats, I'm like, are you kidding me? So my nerves were firing all cylinders when this was happening. I had anxiety out the yin yang, just like, oh my god, just please, like, I don't want this to be a thing. I just want to sit here, and luckily we got to watch it at the seats that we didn't pay for. So we paid for seats, we just didn't pay for these seats. So.
Yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, as for the Meg, the intro and everything, I thought, it pulled me right in. I was like, okay, this is intense, and it started off pretty dark too.
Yeah, it started really good. I'll give you that. Yeah.
And I right away was sucked into Jason Statham's character. Like, okay, he's got some serious traumatic stuff he's done. Like, this is intense. And then we got the huge,
The Megalodon?
No. The
explosion?
The time skip, the time jump. I'll just go ahead and
say. They don't give us like a year though, like a time, right?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
I said 5 years.
Did it say somewhere 5 years? Man, I zoned this movie out already. That's another thing I can put in this movie. And by next week, I'm not going to remember a single thing from this movie. I already forgot that.
Yeah, well, it took quite a big jump, but then even though I was trying to get pulled in, and I got like the hell out there, without spoiling, but obviously there's a helicopter scene. I felt Jurassic Park vibes. This is great, and it kept going, and I liked how they introduced some of the characters, and then as it progressed, yeah, it did feel very slow. I didn't really understand a lot of the characters, like their motives or really much of what they were doing, and
there's one character in particular that's all over the map in this film, and I feel like they maybe try to make it they're trying to write us like, you don't know what he's doing, but it just came off as like he doesn't actually know what he's doing. If I think I know what character you're talking about, but
yeah, probably do. Yeah. That being said, the movie, it was fun, and I had lots of moments that definitely made me jump in my seat a couple times, but a lot of stuff that just, there was a lot of CGI that I didn't like. I didn't really like the Meg CGI. I feel like they could have done a lot better with that. But as for the underwater world and everything, I've actually found it to be quite,
can't wait
vibrant. It definitely wasn't Avatar quality, let me assure you of that. But, it definitely was.
I don't even know if it was Power Rangers quality.
No, it wasn't Power Rangers quality, but it was its own quality in its own way that, for me, I enjoyed it. It was very colorful and very, very visual, and I like the story that they were going about by, and how they introduced, the Megalodon and that sort of stuff. And, this movie, yeah, I can't go too much further without going into spoilers. So,
would you recommend it?
I would not recommend it unless it's a cheap Tuesday, when you're with your friends. It's not a family movie, so don't be excited and be going out on like a Monday matinee showing or something.
But it's not even to the point of it's not a family movie where there's enough like blood or anything like that. Like you could see this with somebody like that is smaller age. Like we're not saying that like, oh yeah, you can go have a fun time, see all this violence. It's not that violent of a movie. There's some stuff in there, but it's all pretty CGI heavy.
It is CGI heavy. Like you could take your kids to go see it. It's not that bad. But I mean, if you're planning out that family movie day with your kids, the wife, and everything, I don't know if you should do that. Go see Christopher Robin. Yeah, go see Christopher Robin. I mean, if you're going on a date, honestly, don't take a girl to see this. Or if you're a girl, don't take. Well, maybe you could take the guy to see this, depending on what the guy's kind of like, or maybe depending on what the girl's kind of like. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't take my girlfriend to see this. 'Cause
don't go on a date during this movie. Like unless you're doing the whole like, oh, she gets scared or he gets scared and you want to cuddle up with him. Unless that works for you, great. But don't take your date to see this.
I don't even know if this movie would be good for that.
Maybe don't see Christopher Robin either, because it's just about relationship issues. So just go. I'm sure Infinity War is still in the theater, so and then Scarlett has to kill her own boyfriend. So just don't go see movies with any of your loved ones. These movies are fucked. Anything before we get into spoilers?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so let's get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. If you do want to see this movie, you don't want to be spoiled, come back and listen to once you've seen it. If not, we're getting into the spoiler territory. I want to start with Rainn Wilson's character, because that's who you're talking about, right? The billionaire who was kind of all over.
He was kind of who I was hinting at, yeah.
Yeah. So my problem was, Rainn Wilson. He was fine in the movie. One, I don't think. Maybe they're trying to avoid exposition, but they don't really explain what their goal is, other than I guess they just want to see what's down there, right? No one else has seen what's past a certain point.
They wanted to prove if the seabed actually went deeper than what they thought it was, because there's that layer of cloud.
Okay, but why? Like, what would that achieve? That's the thing I was missing.
They wanted to discover, if it was deeper, they were able to discover new species that they could catalog, and they could set the record for, exploring a new depth of the ocean. Okay. Also new exploration stuff.
Fair enough. I just felt like it was like a lame enough reason. Like, this guy's talking about how he spent billions in it. And I'm sure there is a billionaire that does that. For me, it was just, I didn't have much motivation of like, okay, he's there. But when he's introduced, he's like really jovial. I cannot say that word lately.
Juvenile?
No, juvenile. No, jovial.
Jovial.
Yeah, because he's like joking, he's hugging people. Like, he seems like a good guy who might be kind of, a little irritating at times, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy. And then when shit goes wrong, he becomes the classic businessman of, you gotta save all the business stuff, and how much money is this gonna cost you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, it's a stereotype, but they're going this way. And then he kind of goes back to being like really jokey and whatnot, and then he goes into, again, something goes wrong, and he goes back into business mode, and then he goes into like, oh, I care for these people, but then he goes into, oh, even worse, and I hate, like, it's just all about the business lawsuits, you know, blah, 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 and then he's dead. I think they were trying to go from this, like, oh, you never know what side he's on, but it never played into it. I would have been fine with that if they played that out throughout the movie, and at some point, because I thought there was a moment when he got that, oh no, it was a different character, sorry, I was wrong, I can't remember the guy who gets Jonas, but when he gets that boat, the time when the real Meg comes back, when it seems like it's the end of the movie, and they get those two boats, like the safety boats, when he was on alone, I'm like, oh, is he going to leave them there? I thought that character was going to have some certain moment where he was going to have a moment where he screws them over, this and that, and yeah, he didn't tell the Coast Guard and stuff about the Meg, but he didn't ever really screw them over, so maybe they were trying to go for, like, you don't know what side he's on, but for me, because there was no payoff, it wasn't confusing. I understood what was going on. It just felt, it was bad writing. He felt like he was three different characters in different movies, and they just cut his scenes into different one. I can't remember what movie that was, but, oh shit. There's a movie where they filmed 3 takes of an actor being like, you're the killer, you aren't the killer, or play it off as like you might be the killer, like, or you don't know you're the killer. Like, they did 3 different takes. And then what they, I got it. So American Psycho, it's William Dafoe. I knew it was William Dafoe, and he's interviewing Patrick Bateman, who's played by Christian Bale. I know you haven't seen the movie, but he is a serial killer, and he's trying to, the scene is just him talking about him, because one of his colleagues got missing, so it's investigating or interrogating him. But they filmed it 3 ways: of film it like you know that Patrick is a killer, film it like you think you might know, and film it like you don't think he's a killer at all. And then in the scene, they used 3 different cuts all the time, so you never know this character. Did he not know? Did he not? And that's really cool, and it was kind of leading somewhere. With this, it felt like they filmed like, let's film the douchebag version, the friendly version, the funny version, and let's just throw it all in this movie, and did not like that character. And then he just gets like this lame ending that was this, like, it ended up being a whale. There's too many fake outs too of the Meg, and before I throw it over you, there's too many fake outs of we killed the Meg, we got the Meg. They did that, I think, about 3 times, and I think that was the runtime as well. You could have took out 1, in my opinion, too, but he could have took out at least one of these instances where they think they captured the Meg or they killed the Meg, and they're all like celebrating or they're happy, and they're just acting stupid, and then it dies, or then the Meg comes back and some people die. So they did the fake out way too much time. So, yeah.
For me, I'm gonna start off. The beginning of this movie where obviously Jason Statham is in the submarine rescuing the soldiers in there, and the submarine is under attack by the Megalodon. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't understand, because they explain later on how the Megalodon was able to actually puncture through the fog barrier and come into kind of our world. And
what was the case in the first
What was the
situation?
case? Yeah, the first situation. Where did that Meg come from?
And to me, it's very movie magic, where you have to believe, of course, like, this one mission that Jason Statham was on 5 years ago is the same shark that's fucking with them right now. Or was the same shark, or was there actually 2 Megs?
No, that was actually another Megalodon.
Okay, so fine, it could have been a different one. But yeah, see, I really liked the beginning. I thought that was good. I liked that he makes the sacrifice. I hated this, where we got into B-movie territory right away. That was fine. And then there's a moment where 2 of his friends, which apparently are his best friends, we find out later, but so it's his best friends, are down in the ship. Statham closed the hatch, and they're like, hey, we didn't make it, open up, and it looks like the ship's about to explode. Statham he makes a decision, he locks the hatch, and then he goes off. And then, what was the doctor's name? Haller, or?
Haller.
I'm just gonna call him the doctor. He was just like, what are you doing? You're leaving people down there. And I'm like, okay, I get that. And then, so they release the hatch, and they go, and the ship explodes instantly that they're escaping from. And then the doctor's like, what did you do? And it's like, no, if he would have released, literally 5 seconds later the ship explodes. He clearly made the right decision, and that's officially where it's like, oh, I'm enjoying the first 5 minutes a lot, this movie has potential. And that's where I'm like, oh, we're gonna have some really dumb, like, trying, like that, and that's one of the moments where it's not trying to be dumb, so I couldn't give it that. I was just like, man, like, this guy, he made the right decision. This ship literally exploded 5 seconds after you've gone, so you would have been dead, he would have been dead. So that was stupid. I like the setup with Statham's character and whatnot, so I don't think he's playing anything unique in this one. He's just playing Statham. He's just like, if you like Statham, you'll like him and this sort of stuff. How do you feel about the ex-wife's motivation? Because obviously, it's like, come in, he's a drunk, and they're just like, hey, you know, we need you to save these people. Well, I guess we skipped over the movie. Like, it's revealed his ex-wife, and she has two partners. They're going on this mission to see what's down below. The mag hits and they're stuck, and they're like, oh, we only know one guy who could save these people, or one guy who's on a mission like this. It's Jonas. He's been on a beach for 5 years, getting drunk. He has PTSD. What do you think about the setup of getting him in? Because he's like, nothing's gonna be back, not money, this and that, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about the setup?
The thing that bothered me was they know that these people are down the submarine with a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And they just go up and they hug Jason Statham, and they're taking their time and everything.
Yeah.
If you literally...
joking around.
If they didn't do that and they spent those few minutes kind of right to the point, getting there right away, then that Toshi Asian dude in the sub would have had the extra minute to climb up the hatch and get out. You know?
I'm not gonna buy that.
I think so. I think
Meg could have still been there.
But, well, the Megs have still been there, but if you think about all the amount of time that they spent, you know, getting ready and everything, they could have got there sooner that the girl wouldn't have had that screw. If they got there sooner, she wouldn't have stabbed herself.
Yeah.
She could have climbed up herself really quick.
I agree with that, yeah.
You know, there's so many instances that just set up for failure, and they just took their time. But
yeah, there was no urgency at the beginning.
there was no urgency.
And then it was very random when they sent down, I can't remember, I'll pull out the character's name, but when they sent the guy's daughter down, I was just like, so they made this big deal about no one else can go down there, and then she's like, well, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's like Last Jedi, like, oh, in Canto Bight, there's this one hacker, only one slicer who can get through this, and then, oh, they find another guy in jail. So it's like, really? Like, really, I know she does screw up the mission, but, like, why is she going down there? She doesn't really explain, she just goes down there.
Well, she was hoping to go down there to connect the tow cable up and tell them.
Oh, no, I know they explain why she went down there, but I mean, like, why did she decide to go down there all of a sudden now, you know? Like, why did she, I guess maybe because her dad was gone, but I just feel like we have no preference of, like, what does this character do or her skills, because we've just been told no one can pull this off.
No, it was the result. She was talking to someone, and then they, when the sub down below got the lights turned back on, it drew the Megalon's attention, and up the top they detected there was an impact on the sub, and so she took it as, you know, they're not going to last much longer down there, I got to get down there. So
yeah, really worked out.
I don't know, I think that the crew in that little sub should not have turned the lights back on. I think that's just, if you know something was ramming you, why would you turn the lights back on? At least just turn the heater back on for your own sake. But yeah, a lot of the characters, like that Toshi guy, I didn't feel the connection. Are you checking to see if that's his name?
Oh, no, I checked to see what her name was. It was Suyin, I think. Suyin, yeah. But no, they tried with his wife. They tried to,
yeah, the ex-wife, which is just a total... just snuck it in there.
Well, who are you talking about? Because you're talking about Toshi, and then
I thought you meant you jumped to the ex-wife. Like,
no, because you jumped to Toshi all of a sudden. I threw to Statham, and all of a sudden you're talking about Toshi.
I like Toshi.
Now he's back to Toshi.
Well, I liked him, and when I saw him in the trailers, I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Heroes. It's this guy. You know, I'm hoping, you know, he sticks around. He's a funny actor, and sure enough, no. I mean, well, obviously, I thought he would live, but I just thought, you know, at least of all the characters, he went out, you know, he didn't seem that stupid. He was smart, and he went out like a hero. I'm gonna give him that. You know, he definitely went out like a hero, and
gonna give him that.
But his friend, I didn't understand what his friend was all about. You know, he
didn't like the humor either. Like, they were going for, like, the big time, like, sexual humor, and, like, you know, I'll give you a little insight, like, I do a lot of that on GeekVerse, but it's quite a big character. We talk about that in After 9 when these guys are making sexual jokes, and I, like, rolled my eyes, and they're like, what do you mean? You do it all the time. Like, I ham it up quite a bit, but these were jokes where it's like, it's not like, oh, someone's trying to ham it up, and they're like, oh, cause it's, you know, something sexual, we're kind of playing on, like, oh, that would be funny, right? Where they're like, no, this is a funny sexual joke, and they're not, and not that it's full of funny sexual jokes, but his character, any humor did not work, and when he was serious, didn't work, and, you know, he's super bummed that Toshi dies, but when they get the Meg, he's, like, kissing the Meg, or that shark, and, yeah, I did not like him.
Yeah, yeah, he died. That was pretty unfortunate, and I don't like how he died. I mean, if you knew that you just pulled this Megalodon out of the water, which another point too I'll get to, the Megalodon that they pulled from the water, like by the time when it dropped, it stopped and it died and started to sink. It was way down there. I don't know how they would have got it because they didn't have submarines in their boat.
I don't even think their boat could have handled the Megalodon.
No, probably not, and that's another thing too. How the heck did they have enough time to orchestrate this whole plan to actually pull the Megalodon out of the water from so far deep as it is, mount it to the boat, it probably took a long time. And
Not for the film.
The big
film
megalodon.
Seconds.
Oh, seconds. But then the big megalodon finally comes out and attacks him.
Yeah.
You know, when Jason Statham finally takes the point of the moment, like takes the time to look at the jaw and be like, oh, the jaw looks different. You know, like it's all conveniently placed. But I do hope that there were more megalodons that escaped through, and I think the fact that there were 2 of them that got out definitely goes
You're not getting a sequel to this.
Yeah, but I was reading articles after this that they could do a sequel.
Yeah, there's more books, but you're not getting a sequel. This movie's not doing
Is this based off a book?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know, but I feel like this is going to do good internationally, this film.
There's a chance, because they got a big international cast. So yeah, we'll have to see about that. There is a chance that could happen, just in North America. But yeah, you can continue on the characters, and I'll go back to Statham and his ex-wife.
Yeah, the Statham and the ex-wife. They just kind of snuck that in there. That was the ex-wife. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why he had the motivation to go and save her, if he kind of like hated her.
Well, yeah, because I was fine with it being the ex-wife of 2 reasons. One, it's the ex-wife. Okay, fine, I get that. Or 2, hey, because he got the PTSD, their marriage fell apart. And that's the route I thought they were going of, like, you know, she left him, he's drunk, and oh, it's his ex-wife, but he still loves her. He gets there, he saves her. Because she's in the hospital, she's off screen for like a good 45 to maybe an hour of this movie. Completely forget about her.
I totally forgot.
Yeah, until Soo Yin is like flirting with Statham. That's the only time it gets brought up. And his little friend there, he's the guy from Fear the Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
Mac, apparently. I don't even remember. He was just like, oh yeah, they were married for a year. He's like, worst experiment ever. They just hated each other. And then he's just like, so he's single. They could have just threw in a line of like, hey, they figured out that they were just better friends than lovers or friends and husband and wife, stuff like that. But he just drops like, no, for a whole year they fucking hated their lives and they hated each other. But like, you know, that's why, so that was weird for me. Like, I get it. It's like, oh, if it's your ex-wife, maybe you'd still save her. And when they interact later on, they don't hate each other. But after, it was fine. But then they kind of like retconned it and said they like hated each other, just so Soo Yin could like be fine with like trying to put the moves on him. So I felt like it was really weird in retrospect that he's like, nothing's gonna get me out there because this has ruined my life. Oh, my ex-wife who I had a terrible marriage with. But then after, they're like really close friends. So again, another plot point that's all over the place. And she was fine, but she's barely in this movie.
Yeah, I totally forgot about her until she was playing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, she didn't really contribute anything to the film
No.
in any shape or form. But the billionaire boss guy, I forgot to mention it too. Like his whole plan of just trying to take it into his own hands of blowing up the megalodon, and then his tracker apparently not working, and they blow up a whale by accident.
Well, I guess the only thing I thought is like the mag was right under a whale, and the whale was just there. But that doesn't make sense. The mag would just stay by the whale and not eat or do anything the whole time. So
they were dropping the bomb, so it probably shook it off for a little bit.
I guess, but I mean like so they're tracking the mag, right?
Maybe it was already like eating the whale or biting into it, and they saw it on the surface and they just.
So they saw the dead whale and they're like, "There's the mag."
Maybe they didn't know it was dead. Maybe it was eating from underneath. I don't know. But like it just, the whole part with that part, like I really wanted the megalodon to jump out of the water and eat the helicopter. I really wanted that.
That's what's gonna happen. Yeah.
But you know, I didn't get that. But when the boss guy is like, "Let's get the hell out of here," and they floor it, and he falls off the boat. Everyone's falling off of boats. It pissed me off.
It happens so many times where people are tripping, people are falling off boats. They're standing by the one thing that would get hit and knock them. And then once again, I get it because it's a water and a boat movie, that's gonna happen. But like it happens so much in this movie where it's just like, what is going on? It takes people so long to get back to certain boats, and because I'm gonna forget about it when Ruby Rose, whoever she's kind of like the hacker in the dark, get knocked off the boat. I refer to this in my non-spoilers of like they've legitimately not had a scene together one-on-one, and he's just like, "You're a good person," and then he decides to sacrifice himself, and she's like, "No," and we're supposed to feel something, but I'm like, what is the relationship between these two characters? I legitimately think that maybe there was a cut scene there, and that would only make sense. But yeah, they're scenes together in the same room, but they were trying to make it feel like these two were friends or some interaction, but nothing, and just like, yeah, you're a good person, and yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely didn't clear that up very well. Because
I don't have anything to say on any of these characters. They're all very generic. The doctor who's an asshole is the doctor an asshole till he's proven wrong. I hated the scene of the videotape of him interrogating Jason Statham about
it cuts right when he's
right when it was so over the top. And once again, if you're gonna go over the top, you have to get it right, because when you're going back and forth between serious and over the top, it doesn't work. And to me, that didn't work. It feels cheesy and too much. Like some of my problems with well, I guess that's kind of my problems with Jurassic World, where they're all serious, and then I felt like it's just really bad. Where this was trying to do both, but that was lame. I didn't think Jonas and Suyin had much chemistry, really. I felt that was really forced. I didn't know if we needed there to be a love story, and that probably made this movie 2 hours. She's fine. I did not care for her dad's acting. Like a lot of people weren't that good, but I was not a fan. He's in this movie for quite a while. He's just kind of a little over the top, but I actually liked the Statham relationship with the daughter, so maybe that paid off. Like, they had fun interactions and whatnot, but they could have done that and not had to make it love story and whatnot. And even then, like, they don't kiss or anything. It's not a big time. It's just, I didn't find they had much chemistry. But honestly, other than in Crank with Amy Smart, I actually find Jason Statham doesn't have chemistry with a lot of females on screen. Yeah. He's calling the dish it out on me. Yeah, sorry, phone call. So maybe that's just a thing. I'm trying to think who else was in this movie. Ruby Rose. I don't know what she brings. I did not like her hairstyle in this. I'm excited she's playing Batwoman.
I feel like, I don't know, I can't remember what else I've seen her in. I must have seen something.
Orange is the New Black, John Wick 2.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen John Wick 2.
Yeah, she's fine. It's just this character just does nothing.
I'm not a fan of her acting. I feel like
wow.
the way she portrayed in this movie, I feel like that is how she portrays, or that's how she acts the same character probably in all her movies. I
100%.
feel like when she does, Batwoman or Batgirl or whatever, Batwoman. I feel like when she does Batwoman, I'm afraid that it's gonna be the exact same kind of character that she's.
Batwoman kind of is like that sort of character though. She's she's kind of like Rose. She's badass. She's lesbian. She's covered in tattoos. So it's kind of like typecasting. And remember, it's just Batwoman for TV. So I feel like she fits the CW type of mold. So I agree with you. I don't think she's bad. I think she just has what she does. She's the badass chick who's in the corner and is quiet and says something. But I didn't think she was bad. I think she's just the same. And I didn't like the guy, what's his name, DJ there for comedic relief.
Oh yeah, of all the guys, he had to live.
It was DJ, yeah. I wasn't a fan. None of those lines worked for me. Comedy-wise, I'll throw it over the table. The thing that worked for me the most, where there's a few lines here and there that are alright, but there's a moment where they go to this beach and it's filled with people, and it makes no sense. I don't know, the Meg has completely the whole movie been in the middle of the ocean, and they're like, where's the Meg heading? And then they're just to this really populated beach, and this beach is just bumping. There's people everywhere. It's the fullest water you've ever seen in your life. And there's this guy in one of these plastic balls that
he lets you roll on top of the water.
They cut to him just having a good time. He's like, yeah. And then they cut to him later, and the shark eats him. That was fun.
It built up because he was literally rolling his ball over people's heads and just going for it.
It was a cute little moment. I hated that beach scene because of not being rated R. One, it was a lot of the Meg. He did eat some people, but it was a lot of the Meg just knocking people off stuff or hitting his tail and stuff. And then they do they try and go for drama where all these people, there's these wood docks that are anchored and people are just suntan and whatnot. They go for this drama where the anchors are getting tangled up the Meg and the Megalodon is taking the rafts with them, and all the people
You're shaking your head at this.
All the people on these wood things are oh my god, yeah, the dogs what do we do? They're they're looking around, and they're oh no, stop. Jump off the fucking dog, and it's not it's they're in the middle of the fucking water, so they can probably all swim, and even then, if this movie jump off, but they try to make it dramatic that these docks are moving, the Meg has them. Just jump off the fucking docks. It made no sense. It was so stupid. They're trying to create tension. That's why I wonder if because it wasn't rated R, they had to find different ways to make people get scared. And that's where this did feel like a kind of a dumbed down shark movie, which was disappointing. So yeah, that didn't.
I think for me, I definitely agree. This jump off, it's a simple solution. I would have thought the Meg spent way too much time swimming underneath all these people
and not making any waves or anything.
Not making a move or anything.
No.
It didn't seem realistic. I think the Meg, as soon as he would have got there, he would have been chomping and eating things.
Yeah.
Granted, he was probably the one scene where it shows him looking, and you see splashes there of trauma, and then splashes there of trauma, people having fun. So maybe it was disoriented or confused because there was a lot going on. That's what I'm probably going to take away from that, I guess. But on top of that, that one boy, I definitely got Jaws theme vibes there, and he's just like, this boy was super annoying, and like,
with the popsicle boy?
With the popsicle. He's like, can I go? 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 Like,
reminds you in my group chat today talking about fucking Xbox Live betas.
Oh yeah.
Got a bunch of notifications. Just literally just get in the mind of Taylor Field. Taylor's talking to no one. No one's responding to him. He sends about 12 messages talking about Xbox and Call of Duty. It's just a conversation happening with himself in his mind, taking up my battery life. That's you. So you can say you don't like that kid, but that's just you today.
That kid is me. You know what? The kid survives. You know.
Yeah.
Which is very funny because he's floating around, mom, and he's just there, and the shark turns away, and then for some reason they thought it'd be a good idea for him just to put the popsicle back in his mouth and enjoy the popsicle.
He's hungry.
So is that shark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. All the deaths and stuff just didn't seem. I know there were people on Sea-Doos, and I don't know why all those people just huddled together out in the middle of the water like they did.
No.
You don't do that. And as soon as someone yelled shark, everyone panicked. 20 to 30 people all pile up on one dock, and they're all like, oh, does anyone see it? It must be gone, or maybe it's probably gone. Like, no. And then the whole wedding scene where the wife is like, you guys are ruining my wedding, and all the people jump in the water.
Why the fuck are you getting married on a boat if you don't want people to jump in the water?
And also, that dog, first of all, that dog got way too far out from that boat.
Bad owners.
Very bad, and she was blaming the husband.
Yeah.
But that whole scene, I honestly thought the dog was gonna die. I don't know why they kept the dog alive. What did the shark eat then, you know?
He had some people in that beach. They just kind of.
But when he went to go bite the dog, what was he eating? Was he just opening his mouth?
I guess so. He had to spit.
Yeah. That being said, though, I think the action sequences at the end in the two submarines that Jason Stathams swimming around, I actually really enjoyed that. Especially when he deked out the megalodon and sliced his underside.
Those were good. That was very cheesy action. I was gonna say when he sliced his underside. Don't you feel like that should have killed it? Because that cut was deep and super long, and the fact that not even like he kind of keeps going, like that's not the killing blow. That just kind of slows it down, but it doesn't really slow it down. So I was surprised that, I don't know, I feel like that's a killing blow, and they got I feel like that's more than the fucking hook through the eye. I guess it probably hits the Megalodon's brain, but like he gutted that fucking thing, and it still was like kind of completely fine. But yeah, like a cheesy video game thing. The fight was fun. Like he's on the side of the shark and it jumps up in the water, and it was a fun moment.
The helicopter pilots coming in, you know, they're all trying to record what's going on. Granted, it's fine, but the fact that two pilots weren't paying attention and smashed their helicopters together, or the one pilot wasn't looking and the other one was, well, anyway, they should have both been able to avoid. I don't know. I feel like that was just so, they were going for over-the-top destruction all over the place, and they just need another reason to get the people to jump off into the water. Yeah. You know, I mean, didn't need to happen. I really thought one of these helicopters was going to get eaten by the Megalodon, which would have been fantastic. I love the part where Jason Statham is flying up in the air and Megalodon's jumping out of the water behind him. That was pretty cool.
I liked when he was on the boat and he had to put the tracker. That was fun, even though that would not happen really.
No,
Statham would have been screwed.
He would have been totally screwed.
It was a fun little action scene of the boat dragging and whatnot. And he's trying to swim and everything. So
yeah, that I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty intense. When Su-Yun went into the shark cage and went underneath, that was pretty cool. I thought it was a cool, more modern kind of shark cage. And I'm glad that her gun didn't fall through the bottom. I hate in shark movies or movies in general when the tool goes through the bottom of the floor. It's like you had one job, you piece of shit, and you just fucked it up.
You piece of shit.
Well, she didn't. You know, they even showed it. It dropped, but it hit the floor and didn't go through. Which is good.
That's where the Meg CGI looked really bad though. That scene, because lots of close-ups of him ramming the thing, and did not look good.
Yeah. Well, I hope, you know, if we get that sequel, they definitely work on the CGI a little bit. But yeah, I'm super, you know.
We don't know. Just super what?
I'm not disappointed. I spent money on this movie, but
do you have any other thoughts on this movie?
I feel like I will probably see it again, not in theaters, and I won't pay. You know, I feel like if it'll be on Netflix at some point, or maybe someone will throw up a version of it on YouTube and I can watch part 1 of the Meg and part 2 of the Meg, you know.
What the fuck?
People do that with movies. I know, it's wild.
Yeah, because I got nothing else to say on this movie.
I think, you know, as far as shark movies go, we definitely are at a time, and I think in this generation, you know, we don't really need shark movies. Like, we got, like, some of the CGI moments of the Meg's fin just remind me of, like, a Sharknado kind of moment or something like that. I just feel like, you know, shark movies have reached their climax or climatic point or whatever in life, and they're going extinct like the Megalodon is. Wow. So, you know, that being said, I think if they could have done anything
but
successful...
But you still want a Meg 2.
I would take a Meg 2. Honestly, if they...
contradicts himself. Don't make any more shark movies, you've hit the top. I'll take a Meg 2.
No, I don't want any other different shark movies, but a Meg 2.
Meg.
Like Deep Blue Sea 2 and all that stuff didn't work out, but, you know, if I...
Jaws 2 didn't either, for that fact.
I like Jaws 2.
Yeah, you would.
But I think that as far as, you know, shark movies go, if they could have done any kind of, like, if we take the Meg out of the equation and let's say they didn't make it yet, if they could have done any other kind of movie successfully with a shark or great white or whatever, it could have been the Meg. But, you know, to each his own.
I'll disagree with you there, but yeah.
What would you say then would be a successful shark movie?
I can agree with you. I think we're at that point. I've said that about Alien. I've said that about Predator. There's certain, and I've said that I think about Pirates. Pirates is a little less, but I feel like there's certain movie franchises that you need a very long break from, or genres you need a very long break from because we've done everything. I think this could have, the two ways it would have helped is one, I think it should have been rated R, and two, it should have leaned into either being more serious or being completely over the top. And I don't know if I necessarily want Sharknado over the top when it's making a full-on bad movie, but just making it kind of a bit more cheesy, and that's the thing, like, you can make cheesy movies but not have to have characters be stupid or stuff like that. Just make them, like, you know, like Tarantino, his movies aren't cheesy, but go watch something like Death Proof. He kind of has like a little cheese in there at times, and I think that's what it would take. But I think you'd have to come up with something like sharks with freaking laser beams on top of their head. You know, like I don't think there's many concepts left with shark movies that you could do. I think the most is you're gonna see something like Aquaman where sharks are being used in
even those
movies.
Sharks, you know, didn't look too good.
No, but I'm not talking about I'm saying as being successful, like Simon is Finding Nemo or stuff like that. I feel like shark movies, there can be sharks in movies that are successful. But I think shark movies as a genre, I feel like you've kind of reached, and it's tough because Jaws is this almost perfect movie. Lots of people hail it as a perfect movie. So right off the gate, you start off with, I'm sure there's maybe other shark movies before, but nothing of note. Like, well, I don't think there was really. I don't know. I'm not a connoisseur of shark movies, but that was the one that brought shark movies in the mainstream, and it's hailed as like being perfect. So there's not much versatility you can do with an animal or a fish in the water. You know.
I think, you know, if I could suggest to the director of this movie, you know, I think more practical effects, you know, more
yeah, but that's not a thing nowadays.
Animatronics.
That's not a thing nowadays.
Yeah,
Jurassic World doesn't do that. Like
Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom had a lot more actually.
Yeah, but it still had a ton of.
It's had a ton of CGI. Because the CGI obviously allows you to do more things.
Well,
obviously,
yeah.
But that being said, it lacks certain realism to the naked eye, and I feel like you know, if they had a tiny bit of tiny bit of animatronics to this, they could have come up with something good, you know.
I'll disagree because I think a lot of the story stuff is bad.
Yeah.
I think the Meg being a bad CGI shark is fine if the story's good, if the script's good.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
You would have liked this guy. You know, he directed both National Treasures, The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Well, where was Nick Cage in this movie?
Cool Runnings. He'll be Meg 2 probably. But yeah.
Yes, please.
John Turtletop. So. I'm giving this movie a 4 out of 10. I at one point was giving it a 5, but there's just too many dumb moments and too many jokes that didn't laugh at me. So like I said, it was almost middle of the road, but just a little below. I can't give it a passing grade. I know Rotten Tomatoes a 6 out of 10 is a passing grade, but not for Travis. It's a 5 out of 10. Either way, it's a rotten movie in my opinion. It's nothing to write home about. So yeah, 4 out of 10.
I'll give it a 5.7.
Wow, I'm surprised. That's very low.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, there are lots of things.
5.7.
Yeah, there are lots of things I would have liked differently in this movie and changed up and that sort of stuff. But you know, I had a lot of fun. you know, I got a kick every time something happened. I turn and look at you, and you're just shaking your head. You had your hand rested on your head.
Cinemia, no.
You were all over the board when we were watching that movie. So that was great. And so the fact alone, it was a 9:40 showing, and it was just we were in our not meant to be seats, and you know, there was just a strange crowd and lots more people coming in. Like, it was just wild. So
I legitimately think in front of us was an open couple, and that's fine. But I think it was a couple that was a girl with two dudes, and they were all like getting it on, because there were just some conversations I was overhearing. I was like, you do you, you know. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It was that type of crowd where there's like fucking side characters from GTA all over in this theater. I was like, what is going on? I'm never seeing a movie at 9:40 again.
Oh my
Fuck
gosh.
this shit. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the Meg review. Tim, I'm going to cut you off because I have to go see Slender Man. And so if you want to find our links, just subscribe. We're on every podcast service probably in the world, YouTube for video. But if you want our links, just go down below. If you want to know our schedule, go to Twitter, Facebook, see our social media as far as what's coming up. We post news. Next week, I think, will be a newscast just in general. I think the week after that's Happy Time Murders, which I may do a quick review for, but I don't think that'll be whatever. I don't think... we don't have much coming up. I know The Nun is the beginning of September, so I think you're going to get a lot of newscasts. Maybe we'll do some specials and whatnot. In a week that's boring, I want to do like a predicting the next Xbox and PS4, because we did that with the Switch like years before.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually never gone back and listened to that episode to see how right we are, but so yeah, I think we're going to do some kind of fun experimental newscast. You want to say anything, Taylor, before we're out of here?
I'll just throw out, you know, if you're playing the Black Ops 4 beta this weekend, you know, that's good. I put out a...
That's good.
That's good.
That's good.
I got a review, SoundCloud and YouTube. It'll be shared on our streaming services, all that, or not streaming services, shared all over our social media networks and stuff. So be sure to check it
off
out
this weekend. You have 5 podcasts hitting up at you.
Lots of stuff.
And then yeah, if you like what we do here, if you like Star Wars, head over to Patreon, because this weekend the first 3 episodes of the Star Wars Clone Wars retrospective will be up, and I'm putting them all at the $1 level, so you can check out the first 3 for $1. After that, they'll fluctuate because, you know, we gotta support the $5, and you know, there's different tiers. But yeah, so the first 3 episodes, that's about almost 2 hours of content right there. You can get all for $1 and watch along, because that stuff won't be coming out for a while for regular people. So it's kind of like Spider-Man Retro, which is right now has been exclusive for Patreon. Same thing, it's gonna be exclusive for a little bit. So thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back. Well, I'll be back a little bit later, but we'll be back next week, and I promise you it will not be boring.
Fang. Finn. I thought that was very clever and cheesy.
Oh boy.